And at the same time, the other thing you have to learn to deal with is making mistakes, because if you repeat a lot, you make a lot of mistakes. And you start to appreciate how you learn from the times you do something well, and you learn from the mistakes and the errors. And it's the same in our sport. It's the same when it comes to the horses. Horses will make mistakes, and a big part of the learning comes from the mistakes. The problem is that every, most riders, every time the horse makes a mistake, will think that they have to change something. So if you approach a fence and the horse has a pull down, naturally you think, okay, how can I ride my horse differently next time so that it doesn't have the pull down? The problem is that this way the horse is always guessing what the rider is going to do. The next time that rider will kick and take a stride out, one time the turn will actually be good and the approach will be perpendicular to the fence, other times it won't. And so the horse never really knows what's going to be consistent and what's going to be different. And it's very, very difficult to learn when you don't know what is going to be consistent and what's not. Again, let's go back to tennis. How do you learn to hit a forehand? With the instructor that literally drops a ball in front of you. He doesn't throw a ball. He's not on the other side of the net. He's next to you. He drops a ball and he asks you to hit it. You don't have to move anything but your arms and your body. You don't have to move your feet. So you know what's consistent and you know what's different. So you can just focus on one aspect, one part of it. And it needs to be the same when I train young horses. I try to make sure that from my side, there is as much consistency as possible. And so I will get involved only in what's actually my job, which is trying to mainly with a young horse approach the fence on a good line and make sure that the pace is a decent pace, which means that it's not too fast or not too slow, and then just try to be balanced and get out of his way. Try to, one thing I use a lot, I hold on to the horse's mane rather than the reins, so that I know that it doesn't matter what happens. Young horses will take off a bit further away, will add a stride. I know I'm not going to be in their way. I know they won't have to think about my hands yanking them in the mouth. I know that they can just focus on approaching the fence, coming on a good line, addressing the distance between themselves and the jump, addressing how tall the fence is, how wide it is, how is the terrain if you are cross-country schooling.